You are now entering the Queen's Quarter. We are powerful, strong, and rulers in our own right. There's a queen in you, there's a queen in me. Every woman is a queen.
Hello, queens and kings. Welcome back to Queen's Quarters. We are just excited about today's topic. We pray and wish it didn't have to be a topic. However, it's what we're dealing with in this society and what we have going on. But before we dive in, all of those that know our show and know us know we have that time of introduction as well as our tea time to get yourself ready for this chat that we are about to have. So I'll start off our introduction. I am Queen Tans, representing the 40s Club.
Hello. I am Queen Emma, and I represent the 60s Club.
Hello, everyone. I'm Queen T, representing the 50s Club.
Hi, I'm Queen Ty. I'm repping the 50s.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Queen Lady B, and I'm repping the late 30s Club.
Hey, y'all. I'm Queen Nye, representing the early 30s.
All right, and we're going to go right into our tea time with Queen T.
Welcome. It is tea time with Queen T. So today we're going to have the pomegranate tea. It helps to increase the level of oxygen in our bloods. Due to the antioxidant, it reduces cholesterol and it helps in preventing blood clots. So get yourself a cup of pomegranate tea today and come and let's see what's going on in Queen's Quarters today.
All right, so already grab your tea because we are ready to discuss. Our topic of today is Dear Black King. Dear Black King, from all of us queens here on this platform, we are sharing this platform just to lift up our kings today in this type of society and what our kings are going through. Our kings and our queens, quite frankly, are going through. We felt the need just to dedicate this particular show just to uplift each other in this sight of police brutality and the plight that our queens and our kings are enduring during this time. So I know recently, and I'll just open up the discussion, quite recently, Dante Wright, a 20-year-old from Minneapolis, Minnesota. And it was a traffic stop, routine traffic stop. And because he had too many air fresheners on the window visor. And that turned into a deadly situation where the cop said she thought she was grabbing her taser and she actually grabbed the gun. And the 20-year-old boy, he got shot, killed in the car. His girlfriend was on the passenger side. And he was actually a mixed race. His mother's white and his father's Black. So he was a mixed race young Black boy and young mixed Caucasian and white child. So I mean, this is just the most recent. They're going through court right now with George Floyd. I mean, so it's such a plight that we deal with. I know me being a mother of two young Black boys, which are by the ages of 17 and 18, about to start driving, about to be out here in the world, going away to college. It's definitely a concern of mine, just to instill in their head, what do you say? People getting shot with the hands on the wheel, you being shot with no gun in your hand. So like, what do you say? You're getting shot for just having money in your pocket, going to the store just to buy something. You're in your home, like playing video games. Like, what do you say at this point? So ladies, I open up the floor to you. But dear kings and queens, we're definitely here to uplift you during this time and share our thoughts on what's happening in this society today. So what queens, anyone jump on in?
I think it's rather unfortunate and it's disheartening. For a long time, I blotted out racism. I didn't want to believe that it exists. And I'm talking about as a young child. Like I used to be like, I don't have to worry about that. That's never gonna happen to me. Or like it was just something that I didn't want to accept. And people would start talking about the older you got, going into department stores and when people follow you around and things of that sort. It's really not funny. I'm chuckling, but it's not a funny matter. So, you're walking around into stores and then they look at you a certain way. Or if you go into a particular store and you're of a certain culture, it's like, oh, what are they doing here? They can't afford X, Y, and Z. And that might have been my first encounter. And even then, I was still blotted it out. But now it's hitting home. And like you shared, I have my one and only child is a male, a Black male, a great kid. He's not in the streets, and I'm proud to say that. And my prayers are with any mother who is struggling with that. Your child was, got caught up out there in the streets, but my son is not. And that doesn't mean just because your child may be that they deserve to get their life taken. We all make mistakes in life, but I have a son and he just turned 16 and he's tall and easy to notice. You know, in all honesty, we're from the urban community. I still live in an urban community. So at this point, I'm like, there's a worry and a concern of his own brothers taking his life. And then my thought process is, as I build our empire and I try to create a better life for us. So if I move him to a rural area or a suburban area, do I have to worry about that? It's like, where do you go? What do? You almost want to put your child in a bubble if it was possible. You know what I
Baby,
mean?
stay here. Don't go nowhere, baby. Stay here.
Right. And then you can't take away from giving them a little freedom. Like, oh my, can I go to the mall with my friends? And you're like, I never thought that those words would sound like, is my son going to come back? You know what I mean? It's like, and you try not to model that fear in front of your child because it robs them of just being able to just live and have fun. And it's very unfortunate. What do you say? I mean, not everyone's as spiritual as we all may be. Not everyone is believers. And at this point, those who are not are really looking at us like, now what you got to say about your God? You know what I mean? So it's like we trying to defend all aspects of it, but it's horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible. And I wish it didn't exist. And it's hitting home. So just because it is a Dante Wright or a George Floyd, whoever, like, just because it wasn't my son doesn't mean I don't feel it. I feel that. Right. It's a reality for us all, and it's very sad. And I wish that it wasn't something we had to deal with, amongst so many other things that we're dealing with. I wish that wasn't one of them.
Unfortunately, this has been going on way before cameras was a thing. The cameras just brought it to light. And they were getting away with it because they could have gotten away with it back then, because as they was doing it, no one was videotaping it. So whatever they said, people went with. Now that the cameras are showing the masses, showing everyone what police brutality is really like and what's going on in the world, it's scary. It's scary to even think that in the year 2001, we are still going through the same thing our forefathers went through back in the day, back in slavery, back when my father was young. This is a scary situation. And I fear for my nephews. I fear for my neighbors' kids. I fear for every young Black man in the world, because when you just think that, okay, now, it's open to the world, this isn't going to happen anymore because people are seeing it. It's still happening. It's still happening. And the sad thing about it is when they stop white people. I seen a video on Facebook, cops struggling with this white guy. This white guy took his baton and beat the cop, beat the other lady, stole the darn police car, and kept it. Not once they pull out their gun to shoot at this guy. But had it been a black guy, that's the first thing they think about.
Yeah.
Why? Is my question. Why do you fear our black men so much that you feel that this is the first thing you have to do? Pull out your gun and shoot them? Yeah, it's a concern. I fear for my nephews every single day. Because like you said, Queen B, no matter where you move to, you think, okay, we're going to move here and move somewhere else. You're concerned because you go into a rural area, then they don't think you belong there. Why are you here? Why are you in our neighborhood? I just live around the corner. I mean, that was the situation that just happened too.
Absolutely. The young man was walking in a neighborhood, and he was an army sergeant at that.
Yeah.
He was a sergeant.
He was
he
talking about the lieutenant.
Absolutely. And he actually got arrested for harassing this young black man. Him and the wife was filming, and he was harassing him and said, literally, you don't belong here. This is a small community, and we take care of our community. Excuse me? So since when can I walk around?
Right.
Like the gentleman.
Oh no, that's another story. That's a different story than the one I was talking about.
What I like about that is soon after the community was all around his house. What are you gonna say now? See, this is what we need to do. We need to address situations like that. As soon as we stand up for each other, the better it's going to be. But we have got to stand up for each other. And when we stand up for each other, change will happen.
Yeah, because I mean, right now they came out and was out all night in Minneapolis after what happened to Dante Wright. Because at what point do you say, like, and like you said, well, Tice, you did, Queen T, Ty, you said 2001, but we know you meant 2021.
Yeah.
2021.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, you got the riots, you got them out there protesting, you got so many different things happening now to signify that, listen, I got my shirt on, no justice, no peace at this point. Because at what point is enough? When is it enough? Like, when is it enough? Like, how many more lives have to go? Like, how much more we got to endure before everybody see in plain view that this is blatant racism? Like, there's no sugarcoating. Like, and for years it has been blatant racism, but they swept it under the rug. But now with cameras and everything else, it's blatant. It's out here for every eye to see. So when is it enough is enough?
Yeah. And even with the blatant racism that we see on a daily basis, we have to teach our black sons that the police, the army guy did the best thing. He drove to a well-lit area. You keep your hands up and out. You hold on to your steering wheel at 10 and 2. You know what I'm saying? Put your hands out the window. Keep them down flat so that they will know that you don't have anything to leave any bit of suspicion around you when it comes to being stopped by the police. I have friends and family members, so there are some good police officers, but we have some bad ones. And what happens is the bad ones really stink up the good ones because you don't remember the stuff the good ones do, but the bad ones, they do so bad until you're like, oh my God, they're killing people just, because it's a day that ends with the letter Y. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, biblically, we all believe in the Bible. I do a lot of studying and researching, and I definitely believe that every time I hear these stories, it's a confirmation to me that we are those people in that Bible that Bible talks about. So we are a special people. And so that's just my take, that's my view. But what I want to say is it's amazing to me because of course I'm in my 50s. So when I was born, the riots were going on. Martin Luther King had just gotten killed, and we were talking about racism then. And it's funny to me that, I listen to the news and it's very frustrating because it's like, well, we still having this conversation. We still having this talk. We're not having this talk. you're having this talk because we good. We have come to a place to understand that you're not listening.
Right.
That's where I'm at with it. You're not listening. We've heard, we talked, we try to get along. Can we all get along? We done did all that, but you're not listening. So this is not a conversation that we need to have again. And that's just where I am personally, but I try not to let these things move me because I understand who I am and whose I am. Right. And I understand who they are and whose they are. And this is why we are a hated people across not just America, everywhere we go. But I'm still amazed that we're still, you know, and Queen Emma, I definitely respect what you said, like teaching our children. But if you guys saw the story with the sergeant who had tinted windows, he went to a well-lit area, he pulled over, he kept his hand on the steering wheel. Most importantly, he still had on his military uniform.
Yeah, I saw that.
So even though he did everything he was supposed to do, and some, they still pepper sprayed him. They still treated him inhumane.
Like
even when they asked for his documentation, he said he was afraid to give his documentation because he didn't want them to think that he was going for something other than his documentation.
Right. And so understand, sometimes it's situations where when someone is dislike you and have a hatred for you and they don't even know you, it has to be a reason why, first of all. And I always, you know, being a spiritual person, I feel like I'm dealing with an ancient demon. This demon been around for a long time. That's why we got to learn to recognize. This is why it's so important for us to become spiritual people and understand what we're dealing with is very spiritual. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, it doesn't matter what we teach our sons to do. That still doesn't give anyone the right to dehumanize them, to treat them in that kind of way. This man literally was crying like, I'm afraid. And the cop said, you should be.
Wow.
He's in a military uniform. He's serving this country.
Thank you.
So now he got to go home and reevaluate the fact that I've been serving this country and they don't have no love for me. Honey, I mean, it's a serious situation, but in my eyes, we're not talking because we've already had this conversation. You all are still trying to figure out why you have this hate, not us. It's not a Black thing.
Right. And we literally talking about, I mean, like beyond just driving, we're talking about going to stores. I don't know if you all seen, it was a woman, a woman and her daughter in a store, kind of, I don't know, it was a beauty supply store, something like that. And he told her to get out because he felt like she stole something. And she literally waited for the cops to come. She refused to leave, waited for the cops to come, and the cops searched her and everything. And she said, I didn't steal anything. But the mere fact that I even have to go through this is unbelievable. Another young man was in a store just shopping, just getting regular shampoo and stuff, a truck driver. And literally the manager told him to leave the store because she got word from the other manager next door, the other store, that somebody that fits his description stole something from the other store. So now he got to get out the store, then called the cops. The cops made him leave. He filmed all of that. He went to the other store. The lady was like, no, I didn't say you. He had a red hat. She said, no, the person I said had a red shirt. So he went back to the other store and made sure he let this other manager know that wasn't who they were looking for. And the cop said, ma'am, that was not, he does not fit the description. And he said, and now I'm not even completing my purchase because this right here, you stopped me. I'm a truck driver just trying to get shampoo and conditioner to go to the hotel. I'm not even from here. Wow. And he said on the camera, this is ridiculous. I'm a Black man. Yet again, he said, I never in my life thought I would experience it. And like you say, Queen Lady B, it's hitting home. Like even when we go to the stores to buy something, you have no idea whether this is going to be a life-altering experience or not. Right. Because of the color of our skin. Yeah. You know, so this is it's beyond, like Thais, 2021. And it's more blatant than ever. Yeah. They're just out here with it at this point. Yeah. Anybody else have any else thing to share on any other topics as far as what we are dealing with now, Queen?
But listen, I think that part of the problem is, like you said, it's done so open now. But our previous administration allowed that type of behavior. It wasn't as blatant as it was during the Obama years. It was still there. Don't get me wrong. It was still there. It just wasn't as blatant. And after the president, after Obama jumped right in there and made racism okay. He made it okay to be racist.
And it made it okay for everyone to literally just be out here with how they feel
be
about
okay with it. Yeah.
Right.
And they it's like they became stronger out of nowhere. Like, yeah, I was here, but now I'm really here.
Right.
When it comes to me, I mean, I don't have sons just yet, but you know, I have brothers, I have uncles, I have a father. And it's just like, oh my gosh, why? Me growing up, racism wasn't really a thing to me because to be honest, my godmother's white. So I have god sisters that are white. But you know, I guess my family, they always just tried to tell us, you know, treat everybody equally and everything like that. But more recently, as I grew up, I'm seeing that these men are not just dying, they're being dehumanized, as Queen T said, but also their life is like decreased in value, because I know they have to make them depressed because it makes us feel a way as Black women. And it's just like, I don't want these men to lose their lives by committing suicide, because I know that that makes the rates of committing suicide higher. But people are already killing them. But it's not even just the white man, it's also Black on Black crime, which I hate. It's just like, I just feel as though our Black men are just so attacked, and like, what can we do to save them? What can we do to pick them up? What can we do to encourage them to continue to live? Because I know the depression rate has to be high. I haven't done any studies or anything, but like, my heart truly goes out to every Black man, every Black boy, because I am a Black female as well. And all I know is that we just have to continue to love on them, because racism is real. This George Floyd attack was just like a wake-up call for the world. Like, it really lit up the world. I think we just had enough. All these protests all around the world. it was I'm not laughing because it's a funny situation. I'm just impressed how like we really made an impact this time.
Came together.
And yeah, and just like Queen Ty said, this was happening way beyond our time. Absolutely. But now we got the cameras out and everything, so it's like making it more aware. But like,
yeah, how about the ones that the cameras didn't catch? The thousands.
Exactly.
Lives, right, that the cameras didn't catch, male and female. You know, that didn't. So how do you guys feel about now as far as just protecting yourself, you know, doing what you got to do in means of protecting your household, and doing what you got to do to protect yourself, be it gun permits and things of that nature? How you all feel about that?
I definitely feel like it's something that you need to do. You just need to be prepared. Everyone should be prepared. But at the end of the day, I'm amazed at how is this going all over the world? Like, we don't realize we live in a land of technology all over the world. Everybody's seeing it, and there's no shame to your game. You still do it even when you know the camera's rolling. I think anytime a police officer shut their camera off, or anytime that they do things like, I thought I did this, you got 25 years in service. You didn't think one weapon was another. I mean, that's another thing. We just need to start penalizing these people as it deserves, and be truthful about it. Stop, patting them on the hand saying it's okay. No, you did not. You're lying, and we know you're lying.
Right.
Just call it what it is. That's where we at now. And if we don't start doing that, it's going to create a bigger problem.
Yeah, and this happened to my sister. Like my younger sister that I have at her place of work, a sergeant pretty much choked her up and everything. So stuff like that. I'm just like, whoa, hold up now. And back then she was a stick. She tall, skinny. So she was a young girl. She had to be about 20. I think she's 24 now. Yeah, so it was a mess. Wow. That's when I really was like, well, wait a minute. Like, I see it all the time on the news, not saying that it means less, but like when it really hits home that close.
Oh yeah. I personally believe in protecting yourself with a weapon. But I also want to say that if you see um, a young black man or anyone pull over, I believe it is our duty
Mhm.
as citizens to pull over and make sure that cop is doing
The
exactly
right thing.
what he should be doing.
Mhm.
Film it from the beginning to the end, and make him aware that you're filming, because I do believe that once that person is being filmed, they kind of
Sometimes.
control
Mm-mm.
sometimes.
Mm-mm.
I'm not saying
Sometimes.
all the time, but for the most part, some people do. They kind of control themselves, but we have to take things into our own hands.
Yeah.
So I believe that if you see something, pull over, film. Just be with that person. Just stay with that person no matter what, because their people are not around. We just gotta start being human. We just have to start caring a lot more than what we do. We do not care enough to take action. I think for most part, some of us are afraid to pull over and do these things, but we need to start caring about other people, about other lives, because that can be your brother, that can be your sister, that can be your son, that can be anybody in your family. So long
And
as we
I
care
heard on
for
the
other
news,
people, then I think that's where it starts.
I heard on the news that the young lady that filmed the George
George
Floyd,
Floyd.
she felt real guilty about that. She had a lot of psychological issues,
Yeah.
about what happened, wishing that she could have done more, hating
Right.
the fact that it turned out the way that it did. It created a big thing in her that when she originally took out her camera, she didn't think it was going to be that much, because the guy that was in the store that they had the issue with, he took out his camera also, but he said he erased his and put it back because he didn't want to, he felt like, well, they had it by at that point. You know what I'm saying? That's what the news was saying. But
Yeah.
she has a lot of guilt behind that.
Yeah, but as long as you film this stuff, I mean, even though it's not stopping the way we would like for it to stop, but it's starting a conversation. It's starting to make
Yeah.
people more aware of what's going on. So, and the more we get out there and film these wrongdoings, I believe it's going to take effect sometime or another.
Well, Queen Ty, I like the fact that you talked about caring. I think at this stage in the game, we got to change the narrative of how we feel about each other. Stop letting other people put ideas in our heads just because it's like this, that person's dangerous. Like you said, we're talking about police, and we're talking about the judicial system. So we know that a lot of people have been found guilty and they may be innocent. I'm not saying all, because one thing this society does is it always show the melanated people that's doing something wrong. You never see that in any other culture. So everybody narrative is watch out for the melanated people because they are a problem. They are trouble. But you don't feel that way about any other culture because it's not put out in the public eye on the news media the way it is for us. So my thing is changing our perspective about how we see each other. Stop letting the news feed you the information about how your brother or your sister is. Like you said, start caring enough about each other to sometime want to be involved. We know that we have all experienced situations where we gotten involved and sometimes people didn't want our help, because that's what we do. As people that care, we care. So we get it. You guys know we have had this experience as a collective group, and they don't want help, and there's nothing you could do. But start caring and changing our narrative about each other would be a great step.
Yeah.
Another thing in reference to the judiciary system, another thing that we tend to do as a race of people is we will accept a plea for things that we didn't do.
Right.
We get scared that we're going to go to jail for a long, long time. So some lawyer will say to you, well, okay, you say that you're innocent, but it's going to cost $10,000 for me to prove that you're innocent. And because we don't have $10,000, we negotiate to say, okay, well, I'll take this lesser plea for this charge. And then you have a criminal record for something that you didn't do.
Yeah.
You have a criminal record for something that you didn't do. I know of cases that way, where, I would be talking to some of my clients and they would be like, well, Miss Steele, it really wasn't like that. But I took this plea because they were threatening to send me to jail for a long, long time over something. I'm not saying that they are innocent. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they are innocent. But sometimes some things get blown up bigger than they actually are when it comes to the African-American males, especially females now too. But some things get blown up actually more than they are because we don't have the money and the resources to be able to fight the system. You have to be able to fight. You have to be able, if you're innocent, do what you have to do to prove your innocence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you said, resources. And that's another issue because sometimes you're in a system. What does a system mean? It works together. So I'm coming, you telling me, don't take the plea. But when I go to that higher court, what do you think gonna happen when I get there? I'm gonna get more time. And this is what happens. A lot of people are railroaded into that constantly.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
But that definitely goes back to slavery. It was a profit for them to have, because once the slaves got free, they had no one to do their, farming and all this other stuff. So they got in their heads where they going to start locking up Black men for any and everything and spend time in jail. And the same system as it was back then is still today.
Yeah.
Our Black men, most of our Black men are locked up in jail for small crimes or crimes that they did not commit, but they got locked up anyway. So I mean, this whole system just needs to come down. It just needs to come down.
And a lot of them are locked up for the amount of years. It's not even worth it. Like, I don't know, they locked up for shoplifting and they got 10 years or something like that. Some of the reasons why they're locked up for so long, it don't even make no sense.
Right. Yeah, it's harsher sentences for our community than our counterparts that do the same crime but have lesser sentences. And once again, it definitely goes back to the system we're fighting. Goes back to what Queen T said. This is an ancient stronghold. Definitely that, I mean, it's definitely spiritual. Things that happen in the spirit realm, then it manifests itself physically. But this right here is it's an ancient fight. It really is. It's an ancient fight. And the only thing, we know God is bigger than all that we could ever even try to accomplish on our own. But I definitely believe that, God is bringing us together as a unit and in peace, because we got to do this thing together. Once again, that's working on our community because there's so much division within our own community. That we have to like platforms like this and just being a part of different organizations that are promoting peace, promoting us to come together on different topics and different things so that our children and our children's children can see that we are moving in peace and that we're coming together to hold each other up. That's where it begins with us. Like you said, Queen Ta, the accountability. We got to be accountable. Am I my brother's keeper? Am I my sister's keeper? We got to get back to that because we definitely have left being our brothers and our sisters' keeper. Like if you see them on the side of the road, you might be a fear that something's going to happen to you. So you know what? You become desensitized because you've seen it so long. You got to wake up your senses because it's just another thing, another day in the life of being in our culture. So you desensitize, but we can't desensitize because that's not doing our brothers and our sisters any justice and any help.
And we have to remember the scripture says that we wrestle not against, the scripture says that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities. against powers of the rulers and darkness of this world,
Spiritual wickedness.
against a spiritual wickedness in high places. So we have to understand we're not just fighting the police. I mean, you understand what I'm saying? We fighting, you got to put on your whole armor. You got to get on your knees and you got to anoint your kids. You know, you got to pray for your children. We got to pray for our society. You know what I'm saying? If we bring God back into this earth, if we bring God back into this world, things will change. Things will change. But what happens is, you know, people are not, they're not taking the scriptures. You got to take the scriptures literally. You got to seek his face, turn from your wicked ways.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes,
and that's how things are going to change.
That's right. When my people shall humble themselves
and
turn from sin. But see, that's when you got to start seeking this knowledge and understanding. Because you, first of all, you need to know what sin is.
Exactly.
Then when you get that understanding of what sin is, then you can turn away from it and begin to do something new. He said, then will I heal their land. So that we definitely,
exactly. And that's what we need. We need our land healed. You know, we really do. We really do.
So I know the women on here, all of y'all have a son, at least one son. So my question to y'all is, how do y'all keep going day to day, knowing that y'all have Black men out there? Y'all just pray and keep moving? Like, what do y'all do?
Wait a minute. Can B say what she was gonna say before we pose that question?
No, I was just gonna touch on what Tan said, and one of the things I was gonna say, I know I'm going back a few questions ago because I think Tan's asked what will we do to protect ourselves, and I think we were touching on how we're recording now and that, but it's not making much of a difference, and I feel that it's not making much of a difference because they don't fear. There's no fear, and it goes back to
there's no punishment.
Right, exactly. So exactly, the system is set up to where one man can do a crime, go to jail, and he's basically quarantined, but still in Club Med. It's not even the same. They're not even sending him to the same place they would send our Black king. It's like, and that's why there's no fear. And forgive me if this sounds harsh, but before I say this, I'll say this. We mentioned like having gun permits and things of that nature. Okay, so I get a gun permit. I have a gun, and if this white male, I'm in a moment of where I have to defend myself. When I use it, is it really gonna work in my favor? Exactly. If I use my gun, which I have a permit for, I have a right to carry this weapon. It's a moment of self-defense. He's trying to rape me, rob me, whatever, and I shoot him. Am I really protected? I'm not. It's the system. It's the way it's set up. And I want to say this in defense of I have friends outside of, our race, and I have family members that were married into my family. So we're not speaking about everybody in certain cultures and things of that nature. It's just some are really like, they don't care, and this is what I was going to say that I felt was harsh. And if this needs to be edited, I don't know. But at this point, I feel this way. Bring this back. You take a life, then you get yours taken. Okay. You take a life, then you get the chair. You get the electrocution. You get the poison injected into your blood, and you go. Since you want to play God, let's maybe if that happens, then maybe we'll see the change, because recording hasn't scared them. And the last thing I want to touch on is that until we take our culture seriously, they never will.
Yeah, exactly.
Until we come to a place where we're no longer killing each other. And I mean that not even just by fire, not by gun, just verbally. We're on social media. We're like, oh, she thinks she better than me. I'm about to roll up on her house. Like, until we become a better model, and this does not excuse everything that's happening to our culture, but I'm just making a point because we're wondering why all these things are happening and we don't see much of a change. And then when we protest, sometimes that gets out of hand. So now they feel like they have a right to hurt us because now everybody's so angry, their emotions are everywhere. And now we're doing stuff like burning stores down and stuff like that. Now, now they feel like, okay, now I got the right to shoot you now, or to arrest you, or whatever the case may be. So I don't want to speak as if there's no hope, because I know us as believers, we know where our hope comes from. And we know that even the things that we don't have answers for, the things that we can't physically make sense out of, we go to our Father about. Just like what you were asking us, Queen Nye, about how do we go about it? with my son, I can't keep him locked in forever.
Mm-hmm.
It's impossible to do that. So I do pray. I pray over him, and he prays for himself. I've taught my son the word of prayer at a very young age. I don't care if you were 5 saying, God protect me. That's one of the first things that I taught him. God protect me. If you don't remember nothing else, say God thank you and God protect me. If you don't remember anything else. Mm-hmm. So it starts that young, and we don't know. Sometimes in life, unfortunate things happen, even as believers. If we can, be real and transparent, it's things that we go to God about, like, wait a minute. Right. Like, just like the young man or the man in the military, like, I've served this country. Why am I a target? Right. Some things won't always make sense, and it's sad, but that's my thing. You want to get somebody attention, start taking a life. When they take one, take theirs.
And these stories, these stories, they be telling us way later. This military story, I believe it happened in December of 2020.
Right, just like the guy that was running. We found his story out a while later, I think it was.
Yeah, it's just
Ahmad. I think that was his name, Ahmad.
Know what's going on.
But then that goes back to what Queen T was saying as far as media, because media will let you know what they want you to know.
Right.
They're going to hone in on what they want you to hear. Social media too. Like I'm telling you, they will ban a lot of things.
Yep. They'll take it down.
They will take it down with the quickness and make up some excuses to why they won't play it. TikTok
and other things they let go on that should be taken.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's that censorship. I'm telling you, you think you live in the United States of America and you're free and have freedom of speech, but you still get censored.
Not so.
Right. You still.
That's why I was just nervous about what I just said. Like, Lord Jesus, please. But we just being real. We just sharing. I mean,
you still get censored because I'm thinking, listen, if you bold enough to shoot down somebody, what if one of your kids got shot down? Now, how are you going to feel? Let's role reversal at this point.
Right.
How do you feel? Like, how would you feel? But listen, as far as me, Queen, with your question, oh my goodness. Like Queen Emma and Lady B piggyback, prayer, anointing. I tell you, that oil where I can't go, Holy Spirit, please. Like, I mean, God, I don't know how anyone does it without faith. I don't know. I really cannot fathom in my mind how to walk this walk, how to live, how to move, how to breathe without believing in my higher power. I mean, power to people that are atheists, power to, because I don't have it in my DNA. It's not in me because I know that I have the faith to believe that if God will cover where I can't, and it's a lot I can't cover, especially where my boys are going or what they're doing, even my baby. God cover them where they go. We can't be everywhere.
Exactly.
We're not omnipresent. We can't be everywhere at all times, in all situations, in all scenarios. So, I mean, I could only do it with prayer. And God bless those that don't have it and don't believe that it works. It works for me.
Yeah.
Come on. Don't get me started.
Yes, Lord.
I know that's right.
Don't stir us, Chance.
I couldn't imagine it. I couldn't imagine it. I really can't, and I thank God for the examples that we have and that our boys see what's happening because they're now more aware. But even in certain instances, they think, well, that ain't gonna happen to me, Mom. But still, it's continually in their face day to day. And with every new situation, I make sure they're in the know. Did you hear what happened and so forth and so on? Did you hear? Be wise, be looking everywhere. Wise as what is it?
Wise as a serpent.
Wise as a serpent.
And harmless as a dove.
A dove.
Absolutely. And be you gotta be on your P's and Q's and watchful and keeping your eyes, ears, and open to what's going on around you, because this thing here is something serious. Because our Black men are very valuable, they're very powerful, and they can be very intimidating in size like Queen Lady B. You said your boy tall. My baby about 6'4". He wears size 16 shoe. He weighs about 240, 300. Let me tell you something. They look at my baby and he's only 18. You would think he's a grown man. You would think he's at least in his 20s. And his size alone is intimidating.
Right,
so, I mean, every day, all day, I couldn't do this thing without prayer. I don't know about anybody else. Queen T, you got your son. How you do this day to day?
That's it. Prayer. Just knowing that God is still in control. He controls everything and everybody. And sometimes when people do wicked stuff, it's because they were picked to do what they did. Like Pharaoh, he said, I chose you for a time such as this. So sometimes, people are used, and it goes back to the narrative again. We got to change our narrative. Like you said, they're trying to promote fear.
Right.
They're trying to promote depression. They're trying to promote hopelessness.
They're pushing agendas.
Yes.
They're pushing agendas.
Queen Tans, like you said, you better believe in something. You better believe in God. You better have faith. You better have a higher power. You better believe and pray and pray and pray. And that's what we need right now. We need to pray for that healing. Right. We need to pray for healing. We need to pray that to keep us, because with prayer, like you said, you can't do it on your own. It relieves you of trying to carry the weight by yourself. So yeah, it's necessary in a time like this.
And I have to say, my boys are adult males.
Absolutely.
And they are as much of a target as the other guys, to the ladies on the panel who have sons younger than mine, Absolutely. My sons and my grandsons and their friends, I'm in constant prayer, because there before the grace of God go one of my kids. You understand what I'm saying? There before the grace, like you said, Kai, he a big boy. And he gentle as a lamb, but to look at him,
wouldn't hurt a fly.
He wouldn't hurt a fly. He wouldn't. And I mean, don't get me wrong, Reggie got a lot of mouth on him. You know what I'm saying? He can be a smarty, but I thank God he has discernment, I don't know of situations, because when I talk to them, I'm like, oh, did y'all see so-and-so and so? They're like, yeah, mommy, I've been pulled over. The first time they told me they was pulled over by the cops before and had them stretched out, I'm like, oh my God, what was y'all doing? It's like, he was driving. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were doing nothing,
That's the real thing, driving while black.
Like, what could have happened in circumstances like that? Terrell is down in Maryland. You understand? And I pray for him constantly. I pray for Reggie constantly too. I don't want it to be where it seems like I pray for one more than the other. I pray for both of them constantly. But God forbid, if something happened to Reggie, I could be there in a minute. I will be there in a minute. You understand what I'm saying? But I still have to, even though Reggie's in his 40s, Terrell's in his 30s, I still have to pray for them like they was 1 and 2.
Absolutely.
Like they was, you know what I'm saying? I got to pray for them like they was little kids. I ask God constantly, cover them, protect them, look out for them, let your will be done in their life. You know what I'm saying? My mother used to always say, we had the church we grew up in had a balcony, and in the balcony they had a bell tower. And my mother used to say, it's prayers up in that bell tower for generations to come. And sometimes when I get worried about my kids, I tell the Lord, I'm like, listen, I'm calling on some of them bell tower prayers. You know what I'm saying? I'm asking some of my ancestors, send up a little more timber to let my kids be safe and covered. Because nowadays, you could be doing nothing. Look at Breonna Taylor. She was sleeping.
Home.
In her house.
Chilling, home. I'm home.
You know what I'm saying? So you could be doing nothing.
Like Queen Nas said, driving while black, shopping while black, sleeping while black, playing a video game while black, running while black, walking while black. Like,
exactly.
Absolutely. Exactly. I remember back in January, my niece and I, we went down to Maryland, my younger niece, and coming back.
Did y'all go visit Terrell?
No. Coming back. I know. Coming back, I think I was in between trying to pull up some music in directions or something like that. And I might have swerved a little trying to, get my situation together. And a state trooper pulled us over. And my niece, she's knocked out sleep to the right of me. And I'm like, it's sad that the first thought I had in my mind was, what if we don't make it out of this?
Yeah.
What if we, my heart dropped. And then I'm a firm believer of you can't show them that you're afraid.
Right.
Because I feel like that makes it worse. So I was just like, and in my head, not that I would want anything to happen to me and my kid, but I'm like, this is my niece. If anything happens, if this man up, they drag us out the car, what will I tell if I lived, tell the story? Like, how can I tell my sister? Like, a million and one things ran in my head.
Right.
And long story short, and this highlights the ones who are still great. He was awesome. Matter of fact, he was so awesome. He didn't even give me a ticket. He was like, just, be more mindful next time. Here, take a warning. This is a warning. And I was like, and I think I just sat there. Even after he pulled off, I was just still like, because it was right after one of these instances happened. I don't want to mistakenly state it, but I forgot which one it was. There's so many.
Right.
But my nerves were just like, and then when he pulled off, I was in tears. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, thankful that nothing happened to us, but also like, why do I have to be that afraid of getting
right? I completely get that. I was in the car with a friend one day and we got pulled over and the cop said we were swerving and we weren't. It was just late. Right. We were just going home and we weren't swerving. We was wide awake, whatever, just having general conversation. And once we got pulled over, I don't really know what happened, but I don't know. It was just a kind of crazy situation, but we didn't do anything wrong. It literally changed the whole mood for the rest of the ride home.
Yeah.
We literally just looked at each other and was like, what just happened and why?
Right.
And I don't think we spoke no more for the rest of the night all the way home because we was just shocked that we got pulled over for nothing. And we hear these stories all the time. And people that it doesn't happen to think it's not real.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I was in a situation myself. Back
in the day, it was the church was a pillar for things like this. We advocated and we walked. The church fought for rights. For our human rights back in the day, more so than they do now. We have to get back there. We have to get back there as a church, as a whole, to let the community know where we stand. Like we're fighting for our people. We're fighting for our rights to live. That's what we're fighting for now, our rights to live. And as a Black man, as humans, like back then we were fighting for our rights, period. But now it's a different fight. It's a different fight, and there need to be something that happens with a church stand up as a whole, for the fight, for this fight, because it's a fight.
Do you call that street ministry?
Yes, street ministry. Yes, I do. And not enough is going out there advocating.
But you're not talking about particular positions like quote unquote evangelists. You're talking about the churches
as a whole. Because that's what got us to where we are today. And don't get me wrong, right? It was a fight back then. Look, Martin Luther King. He went out there, and then you had other preachers standing side by side, fighting, walking, doing boycotting, doing a lot just to get their voices heard. Mm-hmm. We need to go back to that. It's not just about the violence. It's about,
John Lewis said it's the good fight. The good fight.
Right.
It's good trouble.
And we need to
good
have
trouble. That's right. Good trouble.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, right. Queen, you was going to say something prior. What were you going to say?
I was just gonna tell you about a situation I had. We was in an unfamiliar neighborhood, you know, one of those neighborhoods. So basically, my friends had pulled over in like a 7-Eleven parking lot, and they were pretty much, we didn't know where to go. So I don't know what happened. Like I don't know if they GPS wasn't working or whatever the case was, because it was years ago. Like I don't even know why we didn't think to you know, use our phones, but we was literally just in 7-Eleven parking lot just chilling. We're all females. It was about 4 of us. And then I saw this lady peek her head out, the one who was working at 7-Eleven. This, you know, I know y'all think normally 7-Elevens are ran by Indians, but this lady was actually a Caucasian lady. She peeked her head out and she looked. And then I said, okay, maybe she just looking, you know, because she the only one working tonight. And then out of nowhere, I see a cop coming in the parking lot. And I said to myself, I know this lady did not just call the cops on us. So I don't know if she thought it was men and women or whatever she just thought, or she just saw the color of our skin. Because I think one of us got out the stretch or something. But that right there to me was racism. And the very fact that they was just like, what are y'all doing and all of this, like automatically they made it seem like we did something wrong, and we really did. Make a long story short, my friends did have some things in the car. They had no business being in the car, but what they should have said was, we're just looking for somewhere to, we're just trying to figure out where to go from here. We got lost. But I thank God when they asked for everybody ID, they asked for mine. I said, God, you kept me that day. But they did eventually get some kind of, you know, charge or whatever. We had to go to the police station, whatever was in that area. I don't know. I don't even remember. It's kind of like a blur, but guess what? My name wasn't on any paperwork or anything. It's like I didn't even exist, but I was there.
Wow.
So I'm just like, little things like that. I just think back like, wow, that was a racism moment. Or
yes, so that was a Karen. That was a Karen, because you know
that's
we got
what we call
our
it
Karens
now.
and our Kevins.
Right.
And see, that's my prayer. That God keeps me if I run into a Karen. Because I don't know if I'm gonna be the one to say, you know what? Nah, I'm not gonna be that one.
I probably won't either.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, better
Wrong
stop
one.
saying
Wrong
Karen, because
one.
Karen got a spirit. It's like, nah.
I don't want to. I don't want that to happen.
What? Oh my goodness. Well, ladies, thank you so much. Now, this is the part where we're going to completely just dedicate this to our kings, and we all have some uplifting words to say to you. I'm just opening the door, but I'm going to close it out. So our first queen, I want to start with your words of encouragement. Go on ahead at this time.
I'll start us off. To my son, who is a young Black king, to here I go getting emotional, to all the Black kings out there. I know that there isn't much that we can say to make you feel safe, but just know that this Black queen loves you, and that even if I don't know you personally, God knows you, and I pray for you. So when I lift up Black kings all over, he knows your name. He knows your name. We support you. Don't ever let what may have happened to you or what may happen to you make you forget that you are something special to this earth, to us Black queens. We love you. You are creators, you are inventors, you are professors, you are doctors, you are lawyers, you are preachers, pastors, ministers. You are anything great that you still want to be at any age. And guess what? As unfortunate as this sounds, not even death can take away your legacy. Not even death could ever take away who you are.
Yes.
This earth, I want you to hold on. I want you to pray for yourself. But like I said, just know that this Black queen loves you, and I'm always praying for you. God bless.
Dear Black King, I want you to know that we love you. We want you to keep your head up, fight, continue to fight no matter what. We're standing by you. Queen's Quarters got your back. Dear Black King, no matter what, keep going. No matter what society brings down on you, keep going. Stay focused. Stay focused and don't never let anyone tear you down. Don't never let anyone tear you down. We got your back, dear Black King. We love you.
Queen T, you want to go next?
They done said everything, but dear Black Kings, you are truly a king. And you may not have a whole lot of understanding of that, but my prayer today is that you humble yourself and ask God, whether you believe in God, whether you know God, just ask him for forgiveness of any of your wrongdoings and just seek him, because like Queen Lady B said, you are a special people to us as women, as Black women. You are a special people to God. You are creative. You have so much in you that have not yet been explored. Yeah. So stay strong, don't give up, and pray.
Yes. All right, Queen Nine.
So I have a few things that I jotted down. First, I just want to say a few things that I think Black kings can just say to themselves, like in the morning or whatever, whenever they have time, that you are truly a king. So basically, I am a king. I am not who they say I am. Yeah. I'm worthy of success. I deserve peace and happiness. I would like to tell a king or all Black kings that you are truly loved, no matter what society say, no matter how many things that are out to get you or against you, you are truly loved. You are worth more than you can ever imagine. You are needed. I know some Black men don't even think they're needed. You are needed. You are more than the streets. You have what it takes to succeed and be everything and more. Black king, your influence can truly change the world, no matter what they say or how negative they are toward you. And Black man, you could do this. Keep pushing. God got you. And no matter what, us Black queens will always be by your side.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Queen M.
Well, dear Black King, I want you to know that you are strong and loved, cared for, and admired. Know that God has prepared you for a time such as this. Know that you will survive and that God loves you, and so do I.
All right. Yes. Dear Black King, if you weren't so valuable and didn't have the potential to be so powerful, the world wouldn't be so bent on exterminating your very existence. Black King, you were never meant to be a savage or a thug. That mentality was taught to you by men who despised your masculinity. You are a God by nature. You are strong and moral by nature. You are kind, you are respectable and merciful by nature. You are a product of peace and righteousness. Don't take on the identity of a beast to deny your identity in God. Your royalty is your righteousness. Dear Black King, keep pushing. We at Queen's Quarters love you, and always know if you don't think anybody's out there praying, these 6 women are, and all of the women that represent our Black kings and our Black queens, you are in our prayers. Do know we are here for you. You have been a part of the Queen's Quarters experience, where there is a queen and there is a king in you. Visit all of our social media platforms, and we will definitely see you back here again next Wednesday, 6 p.m. sharp. God bless.
We are powerful, strong, and rulers in our